Howdy-o, what do you know, it is Rabbit of ScrubLeet Academy, and we're back in PokeRogue. However, this is kind of a bridge episode. This is not something I'll be putting on Twitch. This is specifically for you guys on YouTube and for anybody who wants to check this out. So last time we played this game, we got caught at level 120, completely soft locked ourselves, which means we can't actually do what we need to do. So, this episode is literally gonna be me beating level 120 with our team that it's basically checked at every single possible venue. We can't really do it, I don't think, but I'm holding out faith a little bit that maybe Vaporeon, Jolteon, and the Ape can handle all of this. I'm thinking that they probably can. I'm thinking we might be able to do it if we try hard enough, if we try enough, like enough times, if we get there. So I did decide to record some audio for this, but this is gonna be more of a post-mortem kind of commentary than it is an actual real live action, real time kind of thing. So I will be commenting on the video as it comes, as it goes, as it does its things, as it's cool and awesome and useful and amazing in every possible way. However, it'll basically be my post-gameplay commentary, just to describe how this process went, what I was thinking at the time, and hopefully we actually won this one, or maybe I just gave up, who knows. Anyway, we'll get into the fun of it right now. So here I am. I'm a very nice little rabbit going into my 120 file. We only have the Vaporeon, the Ape, and the Jolteon alive. We only have the 3 of them, and we have to deal with 6 Mons. It always starts with Vaporeon. Now, this game plays out a specific way. If you didn't see the previous video, I don't know why you're watching this one first. However, it always plays out the same way. They always do a move, and it always does the effect it would do if it doesn't affect at all. So you'll notice that Vaporeon got frozen right there. That would have guaranteed happen every single time, and you'll get to see that in the video every time he does Blizzard at the start turn. So now we are trying desperately. We have to get rid of the Quagsire and the Gyarados. Those 2 are the biggest threats to our team. Obviously, I screwed up here. I knew I screwed up here, so I'm just kind of spinning this one out, just letting it play through. This is actually a test I'm doing. This particular freeze will last forever if we keep using this move. But, weirdly, Golisopod also gets into a loop where he will use every single Swords Dance he has, all 20 of them. And you'll get to see me kind of throughout the video checking just to see how many he's using, because he's never going to get that full, his attack's already maxed. And he will not attack us with that attack because he has water moves. He would heal us. He does have a bug move, so it's very strange that he wouldn't use that with maxed out stats, but he never seems to on this second run through. Or rather on his first run through if we've got the Vaporeon out. If we get the Vaporeon out later, you will see that he can attack, but he won't do it this time. So you notice every time I'm just watching. Swords Dance down, Swords Dance down. It's so weird how you can get it in a loop. This game is basically designed. Honestly, you know what this really feels like to me? It feels like a wrestling match. It feels like WWE. This is all staged. The winner has already been decided beforehand, based upon the inputs, not based upon the strategies or the tactics, which I know could be technically a form of input, but it is based upon, see look, he would heal us there, so he immediately gives up on that idea and tries to, well, actually no, he doesn't on this run, he doesn't. He just keeps healing us. I forgot about that. Mind you, we already lost our win condition. We need Jolteon alive to win, so it doesn't matter. Vaporeon doesn't have enough stuff. Now, I do notice when we use Brine, he will always miss this second attack, and we kill him. I don't usually catch him in that loop because I'm worried about the Vaporeon, so usually in future runs, I'm worried he'll swap out to that and get a full heal off of it. But it is interesting to note that he will always miss that second one. The way that we did things, the sequence of events matters more than the strategies we put into this game. So I'm actually breaking the game to some extent. I'm learning how it works. The Outrage, if we did it here, obviously he would miss that. He always misses that second one on the Annihilate when we use Outrage. So I've been using Outrage instead of Thrash, even though they're the same effective move. However, I would have hit myself in confusion there. So I've tested that out as well. So I would guaranteed hit myself in confusion. Vaporeon gets immediately confused by the Hurricane, despite the fact that he came out and was not confused. So you see the weirdness? There's so many like little quirks like that. Now this run is a failed run, unfortunately. There's nothing we can do here. So he will eventually hit us and he will eventually kill us. So it is kind of a thing. He gets his hit. It kind of sucks, but it's okay. That's fine. This is just the first run. This is the first run of many. We just throw it across chop just to see if it would do the work, and it gets him to so little HP. Annihilate without the Gyarados kind of runs house on the whole team because he has enough type coverage that he can hit the bug, this guy, so he wouldn't have to worry. He would destroy this thing in a normal match, but he had 5 HP there, so it didn't work out. So that's number 1. Get him out of here. Perfect, fine, woohoo. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's what we're doing here. We're trying to test things out. So I've been in the beginning, I tried to kind of go for a little bit of acid armor. Every time I go for acid armor, he freezes that first blizzard and hits. It's a guarantee, and I will stay frozen unless I keep using acid armor. If I try to attack, I will stay frozen forever. So that's weird, isn't it? It's unusual that the things that you do are predetermined. The whole game works in a sort of pattern where if you repeat a match, you will repeat every instance of everything that could possibly have happened in that match. If I had not gone and made it so that I could, return to a match if I failed it, I would never have learned that. Now, here's an interesting thing. You'll notice this a lot. Jolteon takes 2, if he's got full +6 stats on his defense from the acid armor, from the baton pass, he will always take 2 earthquakes, and then Quagsire will throw a toxic. Every single time, and that toxic is guaranteed to hit because our only move is bouncy bubble. I wouldn't waste time on another move, so I didn't really test out any more options. But if we take the toxic on the Jolteon, we lose the match. That's pretty much guaranteed. You'll notice that constantly throughout this entire video. We always lose this match if we take the toxic. Sorry for the spoilers. However, we do learn pretty quickly that that is still a thing that's happening, and we also learn that the only thing that stops Annihilate, really, is that Gyarados right there, because otherwise, Annihilate can run house on everything. But getting rid of that Gyarados is a problem, because to get rid of him, we have to get rid of the Quagsire. We guaranteed have to get rid of the Quagsire. There's no way out of it, and that's a real problem. So, in doing that, I know that I need the Jolteon alive until the Gyarados is dead, funny enough. Until he is gone, I need the Jolteon. That is the way that this game plays. That's the way that all of the gameplay that we did has to work. And the Gyarados body's the Annihilate. It's just a thing. Like, this has been run time and time again. Annihilate can win a few times, but it's probably like 3 out of every 20 or 3 out of every 40 times he would actually win that match. Usually the Gyarados can hit with his Hurricane, and he kills, and Vaporeon never has enough to deal with it later. And then, of course, we don't have attacks to deal with the Vaporeon that comes out after, and we have to have the Jolteon for that. So the Jolteon will always be necessary to deal with the Vaporeon unless we can get the Infernape at, like, our guy max HP and the Vaporeon at, like, this. But even then it would be a roll. So like, you will notice sometimes I keep playing through how I have to deal with this Vaporeon, because this is his wall. This is his guy that stands in the way after we get rid of the other 2 Mons. So we always have a check on us. That's the big problem. And we will take the damage here, sadly, and Jolteon will go down because Toxic just does enough. So we have to do number 3. Number 3 pretty much played out a little differently, because this time I decided to Acid Armor. I take that. I went through the motions initially very similarly, because that way we at least get our heal back. We at least get out of the frozen on turn 4, I think it is, right here, yep. So this is a thing. So we get our full boost. He's not doing that much with Blizzard, but it's still a lot. And you'll notice we abandon this strategy after this run here, because this one is actually doing a little bit of extra work for us. This is hurting. We always need the Baton Pass. The Blizzard will hit. It'll do a lot of damage. We know he's going to swap here because he has a perfect answer for Jolt, or so he thinks. But Jolteon can take this thing on. It can always take this thing on. So this one, with +6, Jolteon takes those hits enough that he overheals just enough of the damage to stay alive. Taking that Toxic was the thing. This is where I finally decided that Jolteon getting Toxicked was actually going to lose us the match every time. That was just a thing. It was really unfortunate, but it's all about testing and playing around. And you will probably noticed I made a couple of misplays in the previous couple of runs there, but that's fine, because it's all about trying to figure things out. Now here, Annihilate, I learned how Annihilate deals with this, because watch this, first impression, did nothing, 12 damage, nothing to Annihilate. We can't touch him until we get rid of the Gary though, that's the big problem. So that's the issue we find. So if we get rid of the Quagsire, then he usually wants to swap into the Vaporeon, or deal with the Infernape with a Liquidation, which doesn't do enough if we Baton Pass. It does nothing. But you will notice that later. This run, since we lost the Infernape, or since we lost the Ape, we kinda just lost the run, because the Ape has to stay alive. He runs house on the whole team if we can keep him alive. And it's a very interesting fight. The next one I think is actually really interesting. The next attempt after this. Because, I mean, spoilers, we do kind of lose this one. It's so unfortunate. We don't have enough damage and we don't have enough Ice Beams to take care of a Vaporeon by itself. The emergency exit helps us to get rid of him, but then we're lost and we don't have an option here because we ran out of Ice Beams. So we would need the Jolteon to take care of this thing, for the most part. Not entirely. I think that technically Infernape could do, Annihilate rather, I keep saying Infernape, I want to say Infernape so bad, Annihilate could do some major work. And we've proven that, because he got him down to like 1 HP. But, unfortunately, it's just not enough. It's just not enough to deal with it. Now Gyarados, he will alternate weirdly, depending on if he would have hit the what is it? The tornado thingy, the hurricane. If he would have hit that move, which is like 70 accuracy, and I think it's 100 in a rainstorm, then he will probably go for that. Or if he has if he's in a loop and we catch him in a loop, we can find certain moves that will trigger it even though it'll miss. So there is an option. Freezing the Vaporeon obviously isn't, because we have 2 Lumberries we have to push through, and we can't get the luck to align enough before we hit 0 on the PP. So there's no way. So Annihilate can do some things, but he can't do enough. See, he doesn't do quite what we need, but he does half damage almost. He almost does half damage, it's so close. So Jolteon would do a little over half, and then Annihilate could come in and thrash that thing down. Here, I tried to just quit because I knew this was gonna take forever. So we just give him some free options here. We just get the Floatzel out. His Floatzel bodies our Vaporeon, that's just a thing, because of Supercell Slam, which has a chance to miss. It does have a chance to miss. Now, I realized that I did a bad move there, because I should have waited for him to miss and drop him, but even then, we couldn't have touched the Vaporeon, so we would have literally been fighting until we struggled, and the struggle wouldn't have come quick enough to get rid of all of our PP. So we do actually put up a valiant effort with Vaporeon, but it has no capacity to end the fight. And I learned it after this one, that Vaporeon just cannot end this fight ever. He's not the one we can rely on for that. We have to rely on someone else to do that work. We can get rid of the Empoleon just fine, sure, but he can't deal with himself. He can't deal with the Vape. The Vape is the problem. So his Vape body is our Vape, because we don't have the PP to fight it. So now we're on the next run. The next run, I decided I was going to do something different. I needed to go Ice Beam strats, because I need this first freeze, because that stops him from using his Blizzard. It is a guarantee. He always defrosts, but it wastes his turn and pushes him forward to the heal. So we get a little more health back, then we full up Acid Armor. We go massive Acid Armor. So this is the strat that I used in the stream, and if you were privy to that, you'd know exactly what's going on right now. I knew this one was the best one, because all the things that I was testing, they weren't getting the results of even that. So we had to get this. He will focus on the 4th attack there, so that's fine. So that's good. And then we would get the free 2 heals off before we take 2 EQs. And the EQs do just a little bit more than we heal off, because Bouncy Bubble is somehow super duper broken. It is amazing as ability, as a move. Like, I can't jazz it up enough. Unfortunately, we take the Toxic on the Jolts. We take the Toxic on the Jolteon here. And that's a big loss mechanism, because the Jolteon, even though he can heal, he can't take enough hits to deal with the toxic damage that he's taking. So the Floatzel kills us, so we have to go out again. I was debating here. I kind of screw up there because I needed that baton pass. So I screwed up here. I needed the Vaporeon and I needed the baton pass there. So I started adding more on. It didn't matter. He was going to body us with that move. So that's where we realize we can't possibly get this guy, and he'll he'll jet punch us down. He kills us there. Terrastalize does the work here. I just kind of go for cross chops at this point. So this run is also a dead run because he's going Gary, and Gary's gonna do the work. Gary can do the work, and I miss like twice, I think. I believe I missed twice on this run. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's a different one. No, I just like mash it. I'm just mashing the key, and then he just kills us here. So that's that run. So sad, so sad. But oh well. And I actually audibly took a sigh there when I lost that one. That's where the pause came from. I was like, oh, God. And I literally gave up for half a second before I hopped back in. I'm like, this is gonna be done. We're gonna do this. I got a second win there, even though I kinda got a little frustrated. So we know this strat works. This is the way it has to go. I didn't write my Excel spreadsheet, by the way. I just started memorizing certain strats. And I tried to keep up with the baton pass. You notice I did it there. You notice I was very careful there. I was very careful. I know he's gonna swap to this. Bouncy bubble, it always works. It always plays out the same way. 69 is also nice. Perfect. So we always take the same amount of damage, and we always go back to 271 here. Then we go down to 178. Then he heals himself. This is where I was debating the toxic. I was hardcore debating who I needed to put that toxic on. And I was sitting there like, Annihilate doesn't really need to, he doesn't need to come out for much. But if he takes that extra chip damage, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be an issue. So he needs to stay just healthy enough to start bodying everything else. He needs to be kind of our sweeper because Jolteon isn't able to do it right now. That was the biggest problem. That's what made me, I was sitting there like Vaporeon, Annihilate, Vaporeon, Annihilate. I had to keep going back and forth like who could take this toxic? Because it's guaranteed to hit, right? Because it hits all the time. Now, it isn't necessarily guaranteed to hit, but if Jolteon stays out and does that move, it will hit. And you'll notice right here, we stayed out. I was just like, no, I'm gonna try it one more time. It hits, it guaranteed hits him. So we always take the toxic and then we take another EQ, which hurts a lot. So we're basically back at the same spot that we were the first time when I started doing this strat. We're basically where we were. We got to like 148, 148. I'm reading it. I'm remembering it like a book. And then we go back out to Vaporeon. We pass baton this time, so we can take this. And then he does an icy wind, though. Then he does an icy wind. See, it changed up a little bit because we changed up how we played. Now he supercells, but it doesn't do nearly enough. It doesn't do enough, so we can do a little more damage. He still hits hard with that. And Vaporeon is kind of here to just do some chunk damage at this point, do a little bit to Floatzel and get it out of here if we can. So we just basically expend him. Unfortunately, I realized one turn too late that if I expended Vaporeon, we would lose all those bonuses, all those defenses. So Jolteon can't take that hit. You'll watch here. Watch this, watch this. Oh, it's gonna go, it's gonna go. No, he swaps out. See, I tricked you, I got you. And then we got the Golisopod, we got free damage. Now here's where things get interesting. Now this is where I'm thinking, okay, we need to play it smart. So, what do I do? I Volt Switch. I go for the Volt Switch. And I decide, at this point, this is how I'm gonna deal with the Vapes. So watch this. Boom, Volt Switch. Going out, Annihilate. Surf, that's gonna hurt, but then we go into the Jolts again. Because he's gonna go Gary. So I get another free Volt Switch on something. You see how this is where my strategy started to come to the fore. I'm like, this is gonna work. I tried to Buzzy Buzz just to see if I could paralyze whatever would come out. He left it in. That is interesting, that is powerful for us. So we decided at this point that that's how we're gonna deal with the Gary. Because that is playable. We just don't need the toxic. If Jolteon gets the toxic, he takes too much over time because he has to stay out so long. So we Volt here, we go to Annihilate. Annihilate takes a big Hydro Pump. That's where we realized, okay, this is fine. If I can do this like one turn sooner, I can catch the Empoleon on a switch in. And then I get that free, attack. And we can Volt Switch here, we kill this. So you see how we're starting to sweep now. We're starting to clean up. This is actually going extremely well. And then we Volt Switch again because he's caught on paralysis, so he won't use the first impression for some reason. but we're 1 mon away. We're 1 mon away. We couldn't do it. This is where we learned everything. Everything starts to come to the fore here. We know how to play. I literally am just going through a formula at this point. I'm going through a mathematical constant. They're basically doing the same exact things if we do certain things. You see, we heal 367, same number you'll see over and over and over and over and over again every single time. It plays the exact same way if you play it completely. So weirdly, in a very unusual sense, you don't expect it, but unusually, if you redo it, you are logically going to win because you will eventually get to the point where you can predict what they're going to do in a guaranteed sense. As long as you do the same thing and change something up here or there, you can predict every moment along that path until that moment. This is where we get the Jolteon out, and Annihilate, I know he has to take this Toxic. He has to take the Toxic, because Vaporeon has to be alive to do enough chip damage to do some work to somebody. So, Annihilate has to take this, he has to get the Baton Pass, he absolutely has to take the Toxic. It's a guarantee. Now, we know he's gonna swap. We don't take the Toxic on that turn, we swap the Baton back out, because we still have to deal with the Quagsire, remember? He's guaranteed swapping back. So we know we just bouncy bubble him. We check the buff, by the way. I just wanted to make sure I got the buff. So now we're good. Now we're good. Bouncy, boom. He hydros. We get an avoidance, which is a big deal, but we don't kill here. And we take a free EQ. That's a lot of damage, but it's not as much as the Toxic. You notice our HP is now 210. 210 HP. So we actually have a chance here. He's gonna go for something here. We know he's gonna go for first impression. We had to take that. We had to take it, even though we could have potentially swapped out. The problem was, we couldn't take that on somebody else or risk taking it on someone else. Floatzel does go down to that, which is weird. I was not expecting that. That actually came out of nowhere. I was expecting I'd have to swap to Vaporeon and take that hit, but I just wanted to see what he would do. I wanted to see what he would do. So we go out, this is my big problem, this is my misplay. I knew he was going Hurricane. I should have gone to Jolteon. Jolteon would have taken that. And I do that little round of the circle there because I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. But, oh, and then I do this, and then I do this. We avoid the attack, so we still took more damage than we needed. Volt Switch would do anything to anybody. So you notice we do this, we get out of dodge, go to the Annihilate. Do I not? I'm pretty sure I do. I'm pretty sure I do. I was debating it. I was debating it hardcore, and then I do go to the Annihilate, yes. I was thinking I did. Okay, perfect. And then I immediately swap back out. I immediately swap out of Jolts because the Gyarados is coming out. Remember, we gotta deal with him. He's still a problem, so we Volt Switch again. He stays in, body the Gyarados, he's gone. Now our win con can come online. Now we know we can use Annihilate, and I'm still debating who I wanna send out first. And I feel like I do end up settling on the Annihilate. Yes, I do, perfect. Because he needs to start doing sweeps. And this is perfect. This is, we catch him on the swap in, so the cross chop kills, guaranteed kills. I'm pretty sure the low kick would have killed too, which might have saved us a little bit of a miss chance. But now we're good. Now we're good. Now I'm literally sitting there thinking, what if I swapped to the Vaporeon though? What if I did that? Just out of curiosity. So I actually go out and try to do it. I try to get that, I try to catch a water move, but he just focus energies, which means I know this Vaporeon's going down, sadly. So I just figure it's Ice Beam time. See if we can get the hit. We get the freeze, which is super funny, even though he can defrost because he had a second Lumberry, so it kind of ruins that. But at this point, it's just all about, Damage City. We do a little bit more, and he crits. And he gets rid of it. We could have done one more and maybe gotten the crit ourselves, but that's fine. Jolteon can do any number of damage to anybody, so I needed this Vaporeon gone. He stayed in, Jolteon kills him, Annihilate comes out. It's time for Sweep City. It's time for, because what's the Galizapod gonna do? He can't do anything, he can't touch us. He's gone. He's gone, and we win. And we win this. We win this annoying, almost unwinnable battle because we played it out. We figured out the loop. We figured out what he was gonna do every moment he was gonna do it. So he read us every single time on that stream, and we actually read him back. You'll notice I do my little victory lap there of beach, swamp, construction site, beach, swamp, construction site, all the way back, down, up, down, up. I eventually settle on beach, believe it or not, because as much as I say we know what's there, we're not gonna do anything there, we actually don't know what's there. I've not really gone to the beach. And we find a Toxapex immediately. So I just set up here, just for the sake of the stream, probably coming tomorrow because I want to give people a chance to view this video and enjoy it. So we actually swap out here. I debated for a while because our Caledon is a really good wall against this thing, but he doesn't do damage. So I actually debated whether or not I wanted to send him out or if I wanted to send out Jolteon just to try and sweep. And I think I eventually settled on Jolteon because he's just the best Mon in the game. Like, he actually put in a decent, fine amount of work against that gym leader. I know it was kind of a great type matchup for him, but the way that it worked, the way that we had things there, we couldn't actually deal too much damage, so we had to play it smart. Anyway, that's all the time I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you participate in the next stream that we do. That being said, I'm gonna get up out of here, but you take care and have a wonderful day.